Alright, we might as well get started. Welcome everyone. I hope everyone's going well tonight. We're standing. I was getting a bit of sick and tired of sitting, so you know what, I decided to stand. Yeah, we're going to jump right back into it. So I did a little bit of work yesterday. Oops, wrong screen. So, I'm on the correct screen. I don't know why I keep changing it. I did a little bit of work yesterday on on NearBeach, and I have essentially got the initialization up and running, or almost up and running. We've got the requirement. We've got the object statuses coming through really well. Oh, that's like perfect. We've got all of that fine, but we can't get the object types working. I was a little too tired yesterday, and I was like, you know what, I need a little break. I need to step away from the computer, go outside, touch some grass, play around with socks, and we're going to tackle it today. So I can't get the object type to work, nor can I get the tags to work. It knows that there's data there, it's just not converting it. So yeah, let's jump straight into it. It's probably something very simple. I'm probably using the wrong serializer. Alright, I'm just going to close all tabs. That way we've got a clear head, we know where we're going, we know what we're going to do. I'm going to open up NearBeach. We're going to open up NearBeach again. We're going to open up the serializers. We are going to do a big yawn, sorry. Oh, stifling that yawn. We've got the tag serializers in here. So we've got the simple tag serializers. As you can see, we've got the ID name, color, and text color. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to that tag. So we've got the tag, so we've got the ID, we've got the name, we've got the color, and we've got the text color. All right, everything matches up there. That's all you need for this. So that one should be okay. We've got two usages for it though. We've got the user initial data. Yeah, we've got it in here. So we do have it as a tag serializer. We do have many and true and all that kind of stuff. Now, another thing which I realized yesterday is not all my models are correct. I've actually modified the tags model. So we could be having a problem with that. It's annoying. But it does actually happen. So what I could potentially do is actually have a quick look. Really sucks. Right, are you coming here or are you going to run away the instant I go try and pick you up? Alright. Yes. There we go. Say hi to everyone. Okay, so in here, we're going to have a quick look at the migrations. I'm just seeing what the last, so 47 was the last migration. Now, I did create a migration. Okay, so we're just continuing on with the migration files for the moment. The idea being is later on, I will truncate that, hopefully into one migration file. If not, if I forget, it's not the end of the world. It's just a bunch of little tiny fixes to get to that point. All right. Trying to think here. Yeah, we just renamed all the tag stuff from tag color to color, tag ID to ID, and so forth like that. Trying to follow the pattern that we're going to use moving forward. All right, we've just reached our first ad break. For those on YouTube wondering what's actually happening, we run ads every half an hour on Twitch. That's just to stop the All right, there we go. I'm terribly sorry about that. Looks like I was having some technical difficulties. I don't know if my microphone was working through any of that, so I do apologize. These things do happen. So we should be hearing my voice now, hopefully. All right. So yeah, I've done some changes to all of that. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm just going to open up a new terminal. I'm just going to go source VM didn't activate. We're just going to go Python 3 manage migrate just to make sure we have all those migrations and stuff like that. I'm also going to go Python 3 manage shell. I just want to see how the database acts. So I'm going to go from NearBeach.models. Oh, models. I can't spell. Import everything. All right, easy done. We've got everything in here. I am just going to go t equals tag.objects.filter. Because that's how we're getting, actually, we've got it. So it is deleted equals false. We've got that. And yeah, we've got about X amount of those. We have a look at the length, there's 6. We go over to our API results. I think there's 6 in there. Yeah, there's 6 in there. That's hopefully fine. What I want to do is T0 equals T0. Just double checking that. Yeah. It should fill out perfectly fine. I just don't know why it isn't. So what I'm going to do, we're going to from NearBeach.serializers. Actually, I tell you what, it's going to be easier. Just because I don't know the path off the top of my head just yet. So I'm going to do that. All right, and then we're going to go TS equals tag serializer data equals T. Touche, Mr. Bash. Touche. Tags serializer. So we got the TS. If I go TS is valid. False. Ooh. Expect your dictionary, but got a query set invalid. All right, no, I know I've done something wrong here. This is all on me. TS equals tags serializer. We want to go data equals T, and then we want to go many equals true. That's where I've made my mistake. So we've got it something like that, and then if we go TS is valid, we've got false. All right, non-field errors, error details, string, expected a list of items, but got type query set, not. All right. Now I know I'm doing something wrong, but this is good. I'm going to close everything. I'm going to minimize this. We're going to go directly to that API call. So we want to open up the views. We want to open up the API. We want to open up user data, and it's the user init data. So this is the data the user will get when they log into NearBeach. It's a complete dump of any sort of semi-static data that they'll be using. So for example, the statuses for each of the objects, the types for the requirement and requirement item, the tags, and so forth like that. Stuff which I don't want to constantly look up. All right. So, we know from this, if I go collapse all, we know permissions work. That's fine. Object state works. So I'm going to have a look at object state. So we're going to go up. That's the permissions. That works. This is the object state. So we've got requirement, list of requirement objects, filter is deleted, order by, sort order. Ooh, so we do have an order by in there. With the tags, we do have a filter. So objects.filter. Oh, I should be looking at this line here as reference. So we've got the tag.objects filter. So equivalent of that is deleted as false, order by name. So we should be getting something similar. Now, if I go into the serializers, and I will, I'll open up the serializer, I'll open up the object data, and if we go into the status, so this will be object status serializers. So here they are. We know it's a serializer, easy done. If I have a look at the tags, yep, same profile. We scroll down, we've got the field and stuff like that. Oh, I think I know what I've done wrong. All right. I think I need a model serializer. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to re-import it. Easy done. I'm going to clear this. We're going to go ts equals, this will be tags serializer, and this data equals t, many equals true with a capital T because that's Python. There we go. If we go is valid, false still. All right. ts.errors. Expected a list of items that got query set code, not a list. All right. I'm just going to hit refresh on this side anyway. I'm going to undo that breakpoint because I was super tired at that time of night. I am going to say tags is working. Look at all of that. All right. So something simple. I was really super tired when doing this. But it looks like, hey, we can fix this really quickly. So we've got the requirement item serializer. Once again, this is actually not just a plain old serializer. This is a model serializer. We're connecting it up to a model. And same with this one. This is a model serializer. All right, we're just got to wait for the server to come back. I'm going to collapse all. So we know object types weren't working. Now they are. Look at that. Perfect. Requirement item wasn't working. Look. Perfect. Let's start cleaning up our code now. So I'm just going to close all those tabs. I'm going to minimize that. I'm going to open up this. We are going to open, once again, go back to the API, but we also want to have a look at the URLs. With the internal URLs, we now need to sort of delete these user permissions. They're no longer needed because that is now in the initial data. And the next thing I want to do is actually remove the permissions API. So we want to go to views, API 1, we've got the user, we've got the permission, this particular one here. This has been fine and dandy, except it's no longer needed. So we're just going to delete it. It's done. And then we just get rid of that there. And done. Bob's your uncle. Okay, so yep, once again, this is working. We now need to edit the before I say let's edit the front end, let's go through here. Let's clean up this code. Using with user initial data, easy done. Yep, getting the current permissions, cool. That just feeds that back in. The static, that's just feeding back. These are pretty small static sort of things. We've got the self. That user picture should be working. We will need to actually test that out. And it might be one of those things that in the front end, if it comes back as null, we default to a default image. All right, yeah, that's just checking. That's just a check. Those are just feeding the extra bits of data into our user results. And that's pretty much it. So the user, that will send that sort of information also to the front end, so that way the it'll be displayed where we require it, which most likely will be the profile picture and stuff like that. So when the user clicks on the profile picture, it'll pop up with a little card of them, and yeah. All right. That should be done. Let's get the front end connected in now. So this is what we're going to be doing a little bit differently. If we go into the router, we go into the router itself. So before each, what we do is we make sure that everything's sort of loaded. We're not just using permission store now. We've actually got a couple of places where we've got the data, in which case we're no longer using this fetch data. So this is no longer getting used. We're no longer handling it like this. We will need to replace this though. We'll have a process data one, and what it'll do is it'll just do those. Now they're not async at all, so the process data can happen pretty quickly. So this will be process permission data, like that, and just those three. Now, is data loaded? I don't need that in two different places. I was going to put that in the other store and then deal with that like that. Give me 2 seconds. So yeah, make sure this router is no longer looking at is loaded. So we'll comment it out there. Comment it out there. Now I'm going to, oops, open up the wrong interface. Sorry, I was meant to open up that interface. Oh, no. I'm not opening up any interfaces. Don't worry, I'm just gonna get rid of that. All right, get max value to do. Look at implementing this as a reduce function. We'll come back to that. It's a not today, son. Okay, permission data. I can get rid of all of this async stuff. So this async stuff used to just deal with all right. All of that async stuff used to just deal. Sorry, all of this function used to deal with getting just the user permissions. However, we've created an API that will get us their user permissions and the metadata required for the user. So it's just one little simple call. Everything gets set up. We're happy with that. We're not dealing with multiple calls or anything like that. So the good news is we can get rid of this from here. Some even better news, because we got rid of that, we can then get rid of the Axios stuff there and move it out. That should make this a lot better. So yeah. All right. Now, so I'm just having a quick think how I want to tackle the next part, because this no longer works. which is fine. We purposely done it like that. I'm just moving that over there. We are going to open up the stores. We're going to have and open up the object metadata. We're going to bring in the object metadata in here. And we've got an ears loaded in here. So we'll need to use both. I'm just wondering if we need to use both stores. Yeah, we will. I'm also wondering how I want to sort of tackle this. So this is just the before each. We've got the destination. All right, cool. That's all funny. That's all fun and games. If I scroll up to the top, what I need to do is I need to import, use, what is it called? Object metadata store. There we go. So that's been used. The linting has, oh no, that's perfectly fine. Async sync components. All right, cool. Yeah. Just me playing around with stuff. So in here, we've now got object metadata equals use object metadata store. Actually, I should properly do this. There we go. And then if we delete before, object metadata store, which will be that. We can get rid of that. We can get rid of that. And now we've just got to add code in here. Oh, actually, no, I do need those permission stores. So const, what was it called? Permission store equals use permission store. Sorry, I should have had a little quick look down here. We are using the permission store like that. Easy done. Now, with the add code, I need to find out a place where I can essentially call this. I can move the stuff into this object data store in here and so forth like that, but something's nagging in my brain, being like, no, keep the stores simple. Don't worry about using Axios in the stores. You can do stuff in the router. Because I think the router can actually nick our version, our setup of Axios. So the Axios that we've set up has a bunch of headers in it. So for example, the CRF tokens and so forth, that to help us actually contact backend. So we are probably going to put it in here, but I'm just wondering if I should put it in here instead of having something large in here. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Fetch object metadata. We'll just call it something simple like that. And this is where I've got to inject Axios in. So I'm just going to copy these two lines because that's all I need. This will go up towards the top. Oops, I was meant to do something like that. So that should, hopefully, fingers crossed, work. Then all I've got down here is Axios.get. This will be API version 1, user object meta, I think. Let's double check the URLs before I actually finish typing this out. Actually, I've got it open over here. Oh, initial data. All right, easy done. Sorry, that's meant to be API client because we're injecting it in. API client. Ooh. Always got to do those lovely question marks. Now this. Sorry, I've been doing a lot of .NET today. All right. So we kind of want to do that. All right, like so. Now, yep. We kind of know the shape that's coming back. But at the moment, I'm going to use an any. Yeah, we do know what the shape is going to be like. So we should fetch the data like that. This will be async, so this will have to do a wait here. We want these await in. We want the whole program to halt and not progress further. So this will then be await fetch object metadata. And that's it. The instant that is done. Ooh. Yeah, the instant that is done. It'll continue on. All right, cool. Now I've just deleted all the code I did just before, which is a little annoying because I just realized I can cut and paste quite a lot of that code. However, that is not a problem. If memory serves me correct, with the permissions, what we're doing is we put everything in there and then I just handle those. So the good news is there's Git. We're going to get into action. We're going to jump onto that branch and we're going to double check the craziness that I was doing. All right, where am I going? It's not in there. It's in source, stores, permissions. Here it is. We're just gonna do this. So that permission data equals response data. Oh, that's it. That's all we're doing. And then we've got a single command to do that for us. Pretty easy stuff. All right, cool. So with Pinia, ooh, this is where I'm just realizing, and something very, very minor. How do I access Pinia from here? Now, what I might do, I might do that. Because I still think that they can be accessed down here. Yeah, they can. All right, that's perfect. Means then I can access them from here. So I can start adding stuff in with Pinia. And I've just, my brain's just gone, boop. All right, you've forgotten how to do that. All right, patch. So what we want to do, permission store $patch. I'm just double checking that I'm using this elsewhere. I am. Look down here. There you go. $patch for the store. Easy done. And it is an object. All right. This is where I go back here and I'm like, all right, permission data. It's just all that response dot data. All right, cool. So if I go into here, that will be permissions. So yeah, pretty easy. Oh, just double checking, does that need to be in quotes? No, it's just got to be an object like that. So we've got to go data dot. In fact, I don't like data, I like response. That's what we're getting back. So response dot data dot permissions. Got to double check that. Permissions, plural, and that's it. The next step is update permission, update stores. And then after that, it will be process data. Actually, go do that, and then it will be permission store dot process permission data. Update object metadata. So that will be the object state, object type, and tags. So we just need the object metadata, and then we're just going to patch it in. Once again, we don't need everything. This will be. Just going to put this over here as for double checking everything. All right, so this will be object status. That's going to be response.data.object status. We're happy with that. Object types, going to be the same as that. Tags, it's going to be that. The status we don't need, and is loaded. Should be like that. Consistency helps. That's going to be true. And we don't need to process anything for that at all. Now, I probably need to deal with the user data. But we've just hit on a break. All right, how's everyone going? We are getting there. Whoop. I didn't mean that. All right. Slowly getting there. We've got about 50 seconds left of the ads, and then we can, jump right back into it. See what we can do. So, yeah. What was I going to say? I don't know. My brain just went blank. All right. We've got... What's the time? Oh, it's 7:10. Okay. Not too bad. I've just lost my train of thought completely. I can't get it back. So, yeah. Hopefully everyone's doing well. Yeah, we've got about 10 seconds left of the ads, and then we'll jump right back into it. About 4 seconds. All right, let's get ready. Welcome back, everyone. So, getting back into this, we've got the object. I'm just wondering, we actually don't have a user store, which would be great for storing the user information, the user email, and all that other little tiny bits of data that we require. So I'm going to actually create that store right now. We're going to go new folder. We're just going to type in the user. And we're just going to go user user.ts. Yeah, I guess it's... Yeah, I guess that's it. Oh, that's fine. So what we want to do, I'm just double checking how. All right, so we want to import the define store from Vue. Easy done. Actually, no, not from Vue. From Pinia. We want to export const use. Yeah, export const use user store. We're defining the store. Yeah, that's about it. Yeah, it's just gonna be called user. I think we do that with the object one. So if I open up the object, yeah, that's it. That's fine. I'm not gonna fuss around names and be like, oh, it's gonna be two thingies. Nah, but screw that. I don't have time for that. We want to return, and this is where we're just gonna go over here. We're just gonna copy this. It's all the data we need for the user. We just need that as 0 as number. All right, cool. I'm just going to do those. We're just going to bump those up like that. We're just going to go delete before, delete before. Delete before, delete before. Delete before, delete before. All that kind of fun stuff. All right, so that is as string. Oh, hello. There you go. That's pretty much it. That's the user state. And the bum I know, how are you going? I hope it's good over there and that the winter will be mild. Well, we had a very mild summer and it was cold in December. Very, very cold in December. Then we had a couple of hot days in January. We've had a couple of nice days in Feb. We've had a couple of nice days in March too. So I'm not complaining about that. But March honestly felt like the spring we never had last year. Yeah, today I've been inside all day. For me, I've just been wearing t-shirt and shorts. It was okay. Oh, it was 24 today. So yeah, it was nice weather. And it looks like it's going to be okay for a little bit. But yeah, this is where we slowly start cooling down. And then I start missing the summer. Alright, going back into here, we're just going to update user. So we're going to also use the user store in this too. So const user store equals user store. Yeah, easy done. User dot dollars patch. Yeah, I think that's better. User store. I think that, yeah, that's definitely a lot better. And then once again, we're just gonna do the equivalent of this. Delete before, all that kind of fun stuff. This will be data response.id. Sorry, got those two around the wrong way. Response.data. Response.data. Yeah, username. Response.data.firstname. Response.data last name. Response dot email. Response dot data dot profile picture. Response dot data dot profile picture path. All right, cool. And that should be it. We don't have any. We've got to handle the errors. So the problem is, I'm going to fix that one. We might need to go to a error page. Which is annoying, and I'm just wondering, something's ringing in my head that I've done that before, that we've gone to an error page. Yeah, because I want to notify the user that their system just didn't work. All right, now I am making sure this is up and running. Cool. We are going to reload, and nothing's working because get active pinia was called, but there was no active pinia. Are you trying to use a store before calling use? Oh, yes, I am. Isn't that right, Socks? She said yes. Now pass me. All right. I know what's gone wrong. Oh, you okay, Socks? I don't think these yeah, I don't think those have been hit in time. And that's why it was down in here, because this is the before each, so everything would get lined up and handled. Which I can cut this one down. So I'm just having a good think. Alright, here's socks. Let's have a look at my app. I'm just going to minimize everything. We're going to open up NearBeach. And Tantai, how are you going? Hopefully you're going well. So yeah. Did you type out the Rubik, as in like the Rubik's Cube? Yeah, I can solve one in a minute. I am just opening up my app. No, I don't need the app. Sorry, I need this. So we set up that. We set up Pinia. We create the app. We use the Pinia. And we do that well before the router, but it looks like... Yeah, order of operations. I might need to put these somewhere different. All right, not a problem. What we can do is we can cut them out of there. For the moment, I can paste them into there. Now, the user store, the problem is it's going to break on in here. Actually, before I do any of that, I want to confirm something. So I'm just going to that. And what we're going to do is we're going to, sucks console log got here. And then we're going to go console log got inside. And I'm just going to refresh the page. No, all right. Not a problem. It looks like we didn't even get there. So, what I'm going to do, going to delete those. I'm going to once again paste them in here, but I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to go permission store. I'm going to put the is loaded back into the permission store. That way I'm only loading up one store. And with the other two stores, I'm going to put them in here. That way we're only loading it up in this method because we don't need to load it up every single time. And yeah, I need the permission store. I mean, I can load that one up one extra time. That's perfectly fine. But we need it just here once for the checking. Okay, that's all set. That's perfectly fine. I do need to know. We just need to do that. All right, so that should. Oh, sorry, wrong area. Wrong line too. I like everything in alphabetical order. That's just me. All right. Then we should fetch object. Now, we do have another problem, but let's not panic yet. There's plenty of time to panic later. All right. So it's hit this. If we go with this, oh, we're not. Oh. Let's have a look at the console slot. Got here, going to load stuff, and then nothing. Oh. I don't think any of this got injected in time. Oh, I think it's undefined. All right. One way to find out, we're in here. We're just gonna go console log inside, and then we're just gonna go API client. Easy done. So we're gonna go to the console. We got the all right. Shoot. I don't have access to Axios. So I'm just yawning. Now, whoop. This is very, very annoying. And flawless. Yeah, I just saw your message. Sorry. What's up? Axios is vulnerable, bro. Yes, I know. I'm not on that version. Actually, I haven't checked on this repo. Give me 2 seconds. Oh, the fuck is Axios? There we go. Just be part of the package. Yeah, I'm on way earlier version. So I'm fine. And Scotty B, thank you for the 3 stream streak. And good morning. I'm going well, thank you. All right, I want to see if next tick will solve this problem. So we're just gonna go next tick. Oh yeah, we just do all this fun stuff. And then we go console log next tick API client. A worst case scenario, we can put this in one of the stores like we did before. It's not going to be a problem. Whoa, socks. I put you down on the desk. Come on. Starting to get wobbly, aren't you? All right. I don't know if this is going to work, but no. All right. The other thing is, I was having a chat with another dev today. So I could potentially use fetch. But I'll need to send through a couple of headers and stuff like that, which shouldn't be too problematic. We can test this out very, very quickly, just by going in here, going fetch, and this is where I just got to read the documentation. So, well. So it'll be something like this. I'm just going to copy this because we structured similarly. So we've got API version 1 user initial data, easy done. We'll get that. We have to try inside. So response equals wait a fetch URL. All right. A lot of this we don't. All right, cool. There we go. Because I'm in a function already. Yeah, sure. I'll keep that there for the moment. Though I would most likely put it in here. Response okay, throw up error. All right, cool. Result.wait JSON. Now, why is that coming up with a... All right. Got an error. All right, cool. Response. All right, sweet. Okay, cool. Sorry, socks. I need my hand back. I'm not expecting this to work. All right. That just worked. Holy hell. Sweet. All right. If it works that easily, I'm just going to get rid of Ajax then. Now, one thing which I do want to actually properly do is API version 1 user initial data. I don't have any init stuff in there. So that's just a simple call. That's the wait, if response, throw error. Now I'm going to remove the try catches. And I'm just going to say use fetch to get data. Essentially, we're going to be doing all of this. All right. And then we're going to do a to-do where we apply an error case. All right, easy done. Oh, I did get the data. All right, not a problem. What they have, they've got results equals. All right, cool. I mean, I could potentially just do that. Throw new error. Yeah, I should keep it in the try catch. No, I haven't seen the source code of the Claude code. I have heard about it and I watched a couple of videos and stuff like that. So, yeah. They're blaming a human. Apparently. Honestly, I don't know. It's just... Alright, yeah, I'm gonna apply the try catch up here. So we're just, gonna do all of that. Sorry, I'm figuring out how I want to handle this. Apply correct error handling. Because at the moment, I'm just doing that. It is not correct at all. I'm having a look at this. I'm assuming that will throw an error. So if I just do something like this, we'll neaten that up, and then we're almost done. Now I need to get the data, which will be just this. And we need response. They had request, didn't they? Result. And then I'm just assuming, I'm just going to assume it's going to be that. All right, this is where I need Vim binding tricks. So Vim select similar text and replace. All right. I'll have to learn it another day. I just don't want to read. All right, response. Result. Sorry. My brain just did a massive brain fart. Result, easy done. Delete and result. Delete and result. All right, cool. Now let's hope for the best. I'm just going to refresh. Type error, can't access property first name. Result data is undefined. All right. Yep, I forgot to get out all of that. All right. So it is fetching the data. We are getting everything put back into here. I can get rid of this. I can get rid of this. And I can look for Axios everywhere else and just replace it. All right, I'm not worried about that because that will throw an error. That should get out of that. That should then catch it perfectly fine. That we're all happy with. Now I can get, so with the object, yeah, it's how we expect it. So fetch the data, we're waiting for that. We're going all the way down. All right, cool. Give me a couple of seconds. This is an async function. I'm getting rid of all our console logs. So we should be fetching everything. If I view detected, yeah, I know, socks, I know. She's like, yeah, pick me up. I'm like, no. And she's like, not happy. All right, permissions is loaded. We got false in there. That's why nothing is loaded in, but that's because we've got to nick it from here and put it up here, and nothing's happening. Shoot. Is loaded, true. We've got permissions, we've got all of that, we've got the user groups, we've got the current object. Oh, no we don't. All right, Socks, what's the matter? What are you doing? What trouble are you causing? Yeah. Say hi to everyone. Yeah, you want to go on the window, don't you? You're like, yes. There you go. All right. So it looks like I'm not filling any of these out, which is why I've got this, which is the basic sort of error screen that we've got at the moment. We've got the is loaded equals true. So if we... Oh, that navigates away. All right, let's not do that. Now, we've got permission data. That's correct. Maximum permissions is correct. Oh, current object permissions. Yeah, we don't actually have any current object permissions. That's perfectly fine. We're not worried about that at all. I've got a bit of something stuck to my foot. That will be fine. Error permission data. What are we missing? Now... that should be fetching all the data. Console log data fetched. That should be all fine. Then we've got to validate the permission. So if destination is undefined, that's next. That's perfectly fine. Permission store has permissions. Yep. All right. Cool. That's looking up the max permissions and all of that. So the data fetch worked perfectly fine. Yes. What have I done wrong? All right, we're going back into the router. Right. Oh, sorry about that. So we've got process permission data. Oh, I think I know why. I think I've got to have that there and not there. Well, that's one thing. All right, where am I? Permissions. Scrolling down. Async fetch permission data. We use Axios. We async. We get the response data. Okay. Yep. All we're doing. I don't know how I've broken this. This is something very, very simple. Guarantee it. Object statuses, yep, that's all in there. That's perfectly fine. We're all happy with that. We've got the tags too. Yep, that's perfectly fine. Yep, perfect. We've got the user data in there too. Great. Permissions though. We have is loaded true. Has error is false. Has administration permission true. Maximum permissions, that's all calculated. That's all calculated. User groups, that's all calculated. What have I done? All right, I've done something silly. It's either in the router or it's somewhere random. Just gonna minimize this because I'm scrolling up and down too much. So we've got an async function. We've got to try. We've got the await response. All right, cool. So we're getting the results. We're not getting an error log. Getting no error logs or anything like that. We should use console error. Because you get something like that. Yeah, this is, hold on. Yeah, right. Something simple. I changed this to this. There we go. That should do it now. Done. All right. So I did wire it up correctly, but because I did that consistency change, it just broke a couple other places. Hey, these things happen. What is sticking to me? An old seed packet. Rocket. All right. So we're now here. We can go to the dashboard, the Kanban board, and all that kind of stuff. Oh, we've got a couple of red bits of error. Request failed with a status 404. That's perfectly fine. We actually don't have those there at the moment. We haven't hooked them up. So as you can see, this is working pretty fast. What I want to do, so I want to check how big this is. This is 2.47 megabytes. I'm going to throttle this down to 3G. Sorry, it's still loading. Still loading. We've got 1.24 megabytes done so far. I'm going to shrink quite a lot of this. I'm going to look up other fonts and start using smaller sized fonts just to help speed up this process, because the fonts at the moment are over 100 kilobytes and I'm like, no, I can get them down lower. We want NearBeach to be as small as possible. And Jack, how are you going? Hopefully you're going well. Welcome back. How's your week been? So if I jump onto that, that does that. All right, cool. And that does, all right, sweet. And then if we make our project, our new project, we select, yeah, let's select the QA team. All right. So there's a lot of changes I want to do there. There's a lot of things that stood out right then that I want to actually change. So hopefully in the next couple of days I'll start writing up all those bugs for Welk and also NearBeach and sort of get them out the door. All right, so we have the initial stuff done. Now that I've got the initial stuff done, I can start working on this here. But first, let's go over here. Let's do this. Let's go git status. Let's go npm run test unit. I want to see what's broken first. We're gonna, if there's anything broken. Oh, sorry about that. There we go. We do have a few things broken. So we have mount component expected +0 to be 1. All right, but we've got to fix that. We've also got the desktop view not working. Viewport navbar should open automatically. And I've just realized I'm going to have to mock the for the unit tests for the app. I'm going to have to mock the state. Just because it's the router's going to call the backend and all that kind of fun stuff. Essentially, it just gets the data that it needs. Yeah, I'm going to have to mock that whole thing. All right, not a problem. So mount component is wrong. So I'm going to minimize that. I'm just going to do that. So that one's fine, that one's fine, that one's fine, that one's fine. This one we're just testing, that one's fine. The object metadata spec doesn't have any data in it, so that's why that one's failing. In this sort of case, just to speed up the process and so forth like that, we are going to quickly have a look at it. But if there's no business logic in it, I'm just going to delete the test for it. Where am I? Source stores object, not object, sorry. But object has... Oh, okay, we can do something like that. Yeah, no, that's fine. That's just to make sure the store is running. I'm just gonna nick that one. I'm just gonna paste it in. This will be user spec. This will be user store. There we go. I don't know if... Did you guys hear just socks just sneeze? All right, user store. This is just to check defaults, yeah. This is going to be user store dot ID to be none. Right, that's just the default. Ooh, we've got the ID there. ID does not exist on type. fine. I'm probably going to sneeze. All right. Why does it? Oh, sorry. Why does it hate me? You know what? Screw it. I just don't have time. Oh, all right. This one, I do need to actually definitely put some tests in there. Because I can, yeah. But for the moment, I'm just going to delete it. We will be coming back and actually doing all these unit tests. I am, sorry, going to flashbang everyone in a second again. I'll have the mouse prepared. Sorry, there I go. Flashbang over. So, the only thing that we have a problem with is the mount component. I'm going to close all of those. We're going to minimize that. We're going to open up this. We're going to open up source components. Is it part of the components or is this part of the page? Yeah, it's part of the page. Ooh, all right. Straight off the bat. That's wrong. That's wrong. That's it. I'm just going to run it again. Sorry, flashbang again. There you go, flashbang over. All right, everything's running. So I've just had a couple little problems with that. That's easy done. We do need to come back and actually write the unit tests for the store. The stores. They shouldn't be that complicated. Essentially, what I'm going to do is, test those. Yeah, just make sure they load up and make sure that the defaults are the defaults, and to make sure any actions actually mutate data how we want it. So it won't be too hard to actually implement. All right, so I'm happy with that, and then I've got to do source VM pin activate. Then we've got Python 3 manage. And we're just doing a unit test down here. Shouldn't take too long to do. Famous last words. Now this is going to fail because of the fixtures. Damn it. All right. This always annoys me. One thing I could potentially do is manually edit the fixtures, because there won't be too much. It's literally tag names and so forth like that. So I'm going to do that. We're just going to go crazy here. All right, we're going to go into NearBeach. We're going to go into fixtures. We're going to go open up the basic setup, and we're going to search the tag name. And then what we're going to do is get rid of that. And that's it. That's all we needed to do. We might need to search for tag ID. All right, let's see if this works. All right, I forgot tag color. And I got to do that too. In fact, tell you what, we can do something like that. Let's go over here. Let's try again. Oh, I dropped my pen. All right. Boom. All right. Cool. I'm going to go git add. What we're going to do is we're going to go git commit. Implementation of the actually no, I'm not going to commit just yet because there's a lot of stuff that we're actually doing in here. This isn't sadly this is going to be a big commit. I know people hate big commits. I fully understand. Yeah. Ideally, I like to split my commits up into small little focus sort of commits. Just having a think. Now, with the serializers, those are all the serializers, yeah, and the tags, and that, yeah, all right. That's part of what the initial data is. Link object, da, da, da. Well, that's me just playing around with the project sort of stuff. All right, git commit. Okay, implementation of the initial data API plus. So that would be part of it too, plus minor changes to project information page. All right, cool. I just want to get that all saved. All right, cool. Let's go npm run dev now. Let's jump back over here. Let's refresh the page. Sorry, it's refreshing at a throttled rate. I do apologize. There we go. So we've got project detail. We can now actually start changing the status and the normal because we actually have the data in there. That's perfectly fine. That I know that Welk, there's a bit of an issue there. I'm going to fix that up. Not a problem. We've got to add code into here with the linked objects. I've still got to design that out. Yeah, I've got to figure that out, how I want that to sort of look and work. Yeah. To do the properties, we still got to do the date time sort of stuff, but that's actually part of Welk. I'm thinking of you. I've got to figure out how I want to tackle that problem. Because I've got to convert the date times into a particular format. And a big part of me does not want to do that. And howdy, Abrax. How are you going? Whose socks fluffy butt? That's just regular socks. I forgot I put that there. Alright. Let's minimize that. Let's open up NearBeach. Let's open up the source. Let's go to the components. Let's go to the, not the new object, but the project itself. And once again, I've got to reorganize this folder. A lot of these components are going to be reused in other different places. We've just got them there for the moment. We'll refactor them. Chilling, 5 a.m. there. Holy hell, in Toronto. Oh, fair enough. Well, welcome. Was going to go to bed, but wanted to check your code before bed. Oh, thank you very much. It's okay, my code. So, yeah. I try my hardest. Alright, so we got everything in here how we want it to. We just want to go into the properties component. Yeah, as you can see, I've commented out the start date and end date for the moment. What we're going to do is implement whelk so that it can accept a null, it can accept a string, or it can accept a proper JavaScript date. And then the idea of that is it'll convert it from the date into the HTML elements, and then we just hope for the best. So yeah, and then I've got to, you know, send it back in that similar sort of format. So yeah, which is why a lot of this code is commented out at the moment. So we've got the whelk inputs. These story points fine. This actually, these two turn into drop downs now. So that will be whelk select. And then what I want to do, why do I have it as status? Alright, no, there's a reason why I have it as a status up there. That's perfectly fine. VModel will equal the status model. Easy done. This will get rid of that. We'll need the values. So we'll need the validation rules. It's going to be required. I'm going to yank that out. What software do you use to code? I'm learning Python myself. So at the moment, I'm using just PyCharm. Now, full disclosure, I actually get it for free. Because JetBrains has an open source license for it. So anyone doing open source sort of stuff gets it for free. However, that being said, there is the community version, which is a scaled down version of the PyCharm. Yeah. But if you're in education and you have a .edu, you might actually get it for free. Look at this free. It's been a while. So students, to qualify, you must be a full-time student at an accredited academic. All right, cool. I think you get it for free. Yeah, it's expensive. It is really expensive. I don't know if you've just hit ads. Sorry, we've just hit an ad break. This is a perfect conversation if you're not in ads for an ad break. So, yeah. Thorny is great. Beginner for an IDE for Python. I've never touched it. And I said it wrong. Thorny. Okay. Fair enough. No, lab. Yeah, all right, cool. We've got a couple of other things lined up. And Hard Loop Weg, welcome. I don't know if you're in ads, but yeah, a few commits, just a few. So yeah, but also to be fair, I commit small, so I do small changes with those commits. So in a stream, I could do up to 10 commits easily. So yeah, 4 seconds left. All right, welcome back, everyone. So, Aprax, I am assuming that you were in the ad break, which is perfectly fine. Trying to stick to my university course about Python. Suggested one for beginner-friendly code. Up to you. They're both free. So, PyCharm's Community Edition is free. You can download it, use it. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. That's perfectly fine. VS Code, once again, it's free. You can download it. You can use it. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. That's perfectly fine. There's also... Now, Jupyter Lab is not an IDE, but it is an environment in which case you run Python in. A bit tricky to set up if you're just learning for Python. My recommendation, nothing wrong with the Community Edition or VS Code. They're free. Just download them and use them. At the end of the day, you should be using an IDE or any tool for that matter that helps you develop faster, helps you solve problems faster. So yeah. And cheers, Hard Loop Weg. So yeah. Yeah, but you've also got plugins for VS Code and so forth like that that can extend it out. I've used VS Code in the past, so not on this particular computer. This is actually going back a couple of years because I've had this computer for 2 or 3 years now. My last computer around... one of the security issues with Intel CPUs essentially slowed down a lot. It just started slowing down and I couldn't use PyCharm anymore, so I jumped to Visual Studio Code. So yeah. Oh, fair enough. Command palette is what makes it good, I guess. I really use... Oh, fair enough, yeah. Getting to a short story about you getting into coding, need for inspiration. I like problem solving, and I got into programming in a weird way. So I actually started doing math at university, and whilst at university, I got a job. And I was building small little database solutions. We're talking small little programs using the Qt framework, which is C++. This is going back nearly decades ago now. It's just, oh god, such a long time ago for me. Sorry, I should also state in maths, we actually learn C, MATLAB, Maple, and Maple. And all of these tools were used to help us sort of solve problems and so forth like that. So yeah, when I was still studying, I got that. I then ended up being in the university and working as a data scientist, or before that name was actually coined. I then moved into IT, hated it, upskilled myself into programming because, hey, I like programming, and here I am. So, yeah. It's a long time ago now. Give Thorny a look. Oh, yeah. I keep calling it Thorny. I haven't used this one before. This is free. If it's free, I would I would recommend using it and see it. Once again, if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. And that's perfectly fine. I don't give a flying hoot what IDEs people use. I just don't. So, when you get as old as me, you just don't care. Alright, so we've got a Welk select here. So we've got the class, we've got we've got the validation. We'll need the label. This will be the same as before. This will just be status. In fact, it doesn't need to be like that. We can do it like that. And then it's the options that we want. It's free and simple. Cool. Yeah. Yeah, I'd highly recommend using it just for the fact that it's free. Hey, you like it, you don't, that's fine. All right, now, one thing that I've got to do, and this is just because we can't do this in Welk yet. This is something I haven't programmed in. Something that will probably take me 10, 20 minutes, maybe half an hour to actually program into Welk. I can't state what is the label and what is the value. And the problem is I'm downloading the data from the backend specifically in what the backend stores it as. So tag, so it'll be name and ID and all that kind of fun stuff. So I know there's going to be a problem here. So I'm doing this the long way. This is not what I want to do long term. I actually want to simplify this code. But just to get this working today, we're going to take a little tiny shortcut, knowing that we're going to fix it very shortly. Hell, we might fix it tonight. So I want to import computed from Vue. I also want to import, this will be use object meta store. And then I'm actually doing the stores at the top. So define stores. So we want to go const, and this is object meta data store. It's going to be that. Easy done. And then we'll have the models define data. I think before the defined data, we've actually got the computed. So const. This will be temp. We're putting this as temp. Status codes. Will equal computed. We're going to do all of that. Now, what I want to do is we're going to return. This will be object. Hang on, object meta data store dot. This is where we want to use the object statuses. Oh, this is going to be delete end. I've just realized that I've actually got to figure out the object itself from here. We know it's going to be a project. That's fine. All right, cool. Const. All right, we're just going to go. I'm just going to put data in here. So we've got the object status. We know it's going to be a project. I'm just going to do a simple map where we're just going to go row. Like that. I've mucked up. Like that. We're going to return, and we're going to go value equals row ID, and label is going to be row dot status. And this is just going to be a it's going to be a conversion layer for the moment. In the very near future, what I'm going to do in Welk for the, those select statements is I'm going to pass through two values. that override what fields we're going to be looking up. So we're going to have label lookup and value lookup. And yeah, that's it. That way I won't need this computed map, and it's just going to be really, really easy. And another thing is, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a look at where the selects will go. If this particular component is going to be used in multiple different spots, which highly likely it will be, we can make it very, very generic, and we'll still need that there, but it's not going to be as bad. It's not going to be like that. Just going to return the correct object status. All right, so that should do that. So we should have that in there. Now this is complaining. We need select option interface up here. And that's just part of Welk. All right, that might not like that. Give me a couple of seconds. I'll figure this one out. I'm just going to constant data. We know that's going to be select option interface. That's just going to be like that. It's going to be value. It's going to be row.id. And that's going to be as number. Why does it hate value? Oh, all right. So that number's got to be a string, does it? All right. Now we know. Label is just going to be row.status as string. We're just going to go. Now that's not going to work because that ID. What's like that? So we got to do something like that. And then we're just going to return data like that. All right, so I've done it in a weird way just to get everything working. Oh, done the wrong thing. Give me 2 seconds. There we go. I don't know why it hates data now. View, value string. Oh. No. All right, I'm just clicking into this. So disabled, no. Opt group. Oh, we might need opt group. There we go. Easy done. All right. I've got a couple of fixes that I could potentially do. So what I'm going to do is, there's a bug in here. Oh, there's also an issue when I cut the code out. What time do I usually stream? I want to watch you while studying. I feel encouraged, maybe. All right, so I'm in Australia. So at the time right now is 8:30 p.m. I usually start streaming 2 hours before this exact time, and I usually finish in about an hour and a half. I don't know what time zone you're in, but I do, and I should actually have those times down on my calendar. So I think Twitch has like I forget what it is. Oh, wrong thing. Yeah, I'm gonna click to that. I think. Usually there's something here that would be like the timetable and so forth like that. I've also got to change a lot of this, because a lot of this has changed over the years. But yeah, usually my time 6:30 to 10 p.m. All right, I'm going to log this as a bug. NearBeach.utrack. 8 p.m. at the moment. Or, yeah. Because I'm in Melbourne. It's 8:30 p.m. Alright, we're going to go put that in there. What we're going to do is we're going to say select option interface, extra fields not required. Alright, cool. So when mapping data to the select option interface for the drop-down selects, we need to include the disabled value and the opt group. These don't need to be included and should default to false or null. Alright, cool. Yeah. I'm going to put that as a bit of a critical one, just because I can see that actually going to bite me very, very quickly. And this is part of Anne. Thank you very much for the follow. Hard Loop Weg. In New York, so 5:30 there. Damn, Scotty B. Anyway, thank you very much, Abrax. So yeah, thank you very much. I do hope to see you another time. So yeah, thank you for popping in. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to say interface types. I'm gonna keep it simple. Types. We're just gonna say types. We'll do hot pink just to annoy myself. Yeah, we'll just create that. So another bug we've got to solve. As you can see, there's a fair amount that I've got to go through, but hey, I program in the bugs so I can fix them later. That's why I got so many commits. Alright, so this just returns all of that data into here. Now, that's no longer having a problem. I'm just going to go over here. I'm going to hit refresh. And there we go. We have the drop down. Perfect. All right. Sweet. I'm having a quick little think at this second. I need to pass to the V model. I need to get the V model and all that kind of stuff too. So what I want to do is we've got the V model up here. I think we've already set how we want the model to be. I've got to double check that though. Yeah. All right. Text input. I'm happy with that. That can just disappear now. What we can do down here is he'll be here. He is as dependable as the mail. Model. So we need to do V model status model up. We are already doing the status model. It's not coming through, but before we get all huffy puffy, let's actually double check that we're passing it through. I'm just doing a fresh reload. That should load in the data we want. So I'm going to go to Pinia. We've got object in here. So we've got all the object. We've got the status. Sweet. We've got the full status. Cool. Easy done. That's one other thing is when I update this model, what's going to happen? Figure that out. Because when we update it, I kind of want to update it up here and have everything up there. It's not going to be too much of a payload. Essentially, we're just finding by ID. All right, object metadata, what we want to do is we want to find, not in here, we want the components, sorry. Components. So we have, not those, not that, we have the wrap view. Cool. We've got the anonymous yeah, we got the base transition. Yeah, we got the project page. Yeah, this is us going down further and further and further into the void. There we go. We've got properties component, anonymous component. We just need properties component. We have status model is you haven't made it a number. All right, that is our problem. If I edit that and I go 1. There we go. It changes it to new. So let's actually fix things up. I need to go up to the project page. I need to go up here. We've got the project component. Oh, hold on. Status model default. Ow. All right. What we're going to do, so we're going to make this required. That's going to make the project page freak out up here. It's going to be like, yo, what's going on? However, so I'm just having a little think. We have the data upstream. So we have the data in Pinia. Now the problem is, in Pinia, it's structured like that. And I'm just wondering, so I pick you on. Yeah, I'm just wondering if I can do this in a smart way. One way I would do it, and I'll draw this out, is I would create a separate component. Let's just call that status component. And I'll make this reusable. As best as possible. Reusable. All right. So, that will be our status. Underneath, depending if it's a project or a task or something like that, it'll get the load in the correct stats using the store. And that's very easy to do. I have the destination easily accessible. I can then get the store from that. If there is no data for that, I'm like, cool, I'll walk away. There'll be no drop down for you. The next thing I would do is I can easily grab the sorry, my brain. I can easily grab the status ID from the store, and I still want to keep it in that shape in the store. Then what I could potentially do is have it when someone changes something there, model gets changed, I just update the store with the correct value in that structure. That's not hard to do. The model itself, that can be just the ID, the simple number. That can be then done locally. I can then handle all of the validation and stuff like that and send that upstream from that component. Isn't that right, Socks? She's like, no, stop scratching my cheek. No. Yeah. Oh, sorry, things aren't happening. I've also got a question mark on my Wi-Fi. Alright, I'm hoping my Wi-Fi hasn't dropped. So I think that's possible to do it like that. Now, I want to, for the priority, we are actually creating our own little component for the priority. It's set in stone and everything like that, so it's going to be a lot more simpler. And these two are going to be very similar, and that way I can just reuse these components over in the other places. So yeah, in fact, most of this layout. Sorry, let me get here. Most of this layout will be very similar between each of them too. All right. So I'm just having a quick think and all that kind of fun stuff. So if I do that with the status, I think that will be great. I can do the same with the priority. I think that will be great. Story points. I don't need to make that into a tiny version, but I can connect the story points directly up with, because it's just an int, I can directly connect them up into the object stuff itself. I should be able to connect it to that fairly easily. Yeah, it's just the stats and the priority a little bit different. And Jane Medden, welcome. I do hope you are enjoying my content. So, yeah. I have plans. They're crazy, but I have plans. Yeah, I've got to fix a lot of this up. Oh, we've hit an ad break. All right. So hopefully everyone's going well. Socks is still here. She's a bit sleepy. She's like, oh, what? Treats? Treats? So yeah, we are getting there. Yeah, I've just got to figure out how I can get Pinia to connect up and it be the model and stuff like that. I've just got to read the docs. So yeah, that's just got to read the docs. Then once that's done, all right. So plan of attack. Trying to get my head straight here. We're going to do that first for the story points, because that's going to be the easiest one. Then we do it for the priority, because we're going to create our own priority and so forth like that. Then we're going to shuffle around all the components, because we're going to think what components are going to be reused everywhere else. They shouldn't belong under project. We're going to structure that folder correctly. So yeah, all right. Let's look at the documentation. Pinia store use as model. All right, define a store. All right, cool. I'm just going to go v model. No, that's a bit disappointing. What if I go v model? Access in the state. Hang on. In VueJS, you can directly bind. Oh, there it is. All right, cool. Access in the state. By default, you can directly read and write to the state, accessing it through the store instance. Yes, this means no verbose wrappers like VueJS. Yes, we had to do that before. You can directly bind. All right. Too easy. Way too easy. What are they trying to do here? Make my life easy? So I want to go up here where... going to go use object data store, object data. All right, perfect. So I'm going to scroll down here. This is going to be object metadata store dot. This is where we're going to go and figure out what the it should be just object. Yeah, object. Whoops, I'm using the wrong one. It should be object store. We'll go up to the top again. Sorry, we've got to import two stores for this. Import the use object store. Easy done. Const object store. Object store. There we go. And then this will be story points. That's pretty much it. Fingers crossed. We're just going to go into here. I'm just going to refresh. Oh, that one's perfect. That I'll set up in a minute. We'll click on Pinia. We'll go to the object here. You guys are looking at the story point here. If I just suddenly up it, there we go. Easy. No problem. That's super easy. It just works. All right. Done. Now, so I'm just thinking how I want to actually tackle the next part. I'm going to tackle it by starting to refactor a lot of this, because you can, a lot of this folder structure was set up when I was doing the mock-up and so forth like that. We need to move this around. So the project page will now belong under here. We're just going to refactor. Hello? Oh, it is. The other thing that we're going to do is we're going to start moving a lot of these out from here. Now, this is where I gotta sort of. Why don't you put TypeScript on your tags or channel? Because I am terrible at it. No. I just never thought of that. Cheers, thanks, Scotty B. Let's actually do that right now. There we go. Hopefully that has appeared. All right, so I'm just gonna be blabbing on for a little bit. Initially with NearBeach, we had this level as more for the pages and so forth like that, and then you would go down into there. So, for example, this would be structure, and then you got app structure, and this one doesn't have permission store in here. I should then get rid of it. Sweet. And so forth like that. And then, yeah, you got your skip links. So these are high level type of components. I was thinking of having a folder called object data and then putting all of those shared, not object data, or object components, and putting all those shared components within there. We currently do that with the 031 NearBeach. It's called, I forgot what it's called, but yeah, we kind of do that for that. So we're going to do the similar thing. We're just going to go object components. And in here, for example, the access, that's definitely object components, and we refactored that one in. All of these are all part of that object components, and we just refactored them all in like that. And then I'm just going to delete that. All right, cool. And then we've got a simple just project page here. Oh yeah, don't forget to drop everyone, exclamation point drop followed by your favorite emoji. All right, I am going to do Grumpy Max. Easy done. I just dropped my pen again. All right. So that way, that's clean. We know that these are going to be shared between each of the different objects and so forth like that. If we have an object-specific component, it will stay under there. For example, with requirements, you can create new requirements from requirements itself. So we would have a new requirements thing under there, and so forth like that. So yeah. That way I've at least got some hierarchy of the component structure. And it makes it easier to find. Instead of having just one folder with thousands of components in there, they're structured. So you're like, all right, cool, I'll go into project. In the project it has this, and you move your way down. Now, the properties component here. Oh. All right, we've broken something on properties. Now, we're not importing date times just yet. We will, but I'll keep that like that. But we are removing the status model. Oh yeah, we're removing the status model. All right, cool. All of these would be removed. All right. The reason why they're moved, once again, we're going to use the store to actually get that data. We don't need to worry about it down here. We're not passing data down and all that kind of fun stuff. That's why we're using a store. Yeah, once again, the status code things we need to fix up, but that'll happen next. And I'm just wondering... Oh, yeah. Nightbot. Yeah. It only goes off every 5 minutes for Nightbot or something like that. So you can actually time the stream to when Nightbot does a drop. So, yeah. It also cheats because of that. And for some strange reason, the reason why he gets really good scores and consistent scores is because he's dropping at those exact times. And yeah, it's why we also have to beat Nightbot. I'm going to do amputee Amber. Oh, nice. 90.75. Congrats, Scotty B. So, yeah. Alright, there is one little problem I can think of. It's this one here with the status. I might need to convert dual mapping, but... This is where I just don't know this. This is a JavaScript map from one type to another that have the same fields. I don't know if it's possible. I don't know if it's done. Is that just it? Do we just do something like that? I mean, that might be worth it. All right. Anyway, let's get back into this. I've got to focus. So what I want to do is under object component, I want to create a new one, and I'm just noticed a bit of inconsistency here. I'm just going to rename that to link underscore object. All right, cool. Blah, blah, blah. I'm going to right hand click and I'm going to do that. I'm going to go object status. I'm going to right hand click. I'm going to go object status dot view. Easy done. We're just going to go script setup. I've forgotten the default, so excuse me. I am going to be very rude. I'm just going to delete it, pretend I didn't make it, and actually use the view component down here with the compositional API. We're going to go object status. There you go. Setup lang TS. Yep. All right. Cool. Yeah, I screwed that up. Now up here, what we're going to do, we're going to import from Welk. We're going to do the Welk. This is the drop down from Welk. Now I'm going to move this over here for reference because there's going to be some cut and pasting. Oh, ah. So we're just passing that through. Now we've got the status compact and the status in here. I'm actually going to do something a little bit different. This is going to be object status. And then in the scoped, I'm just going to go object status. And then oh, maybe I don't want to do that. Maybe I just want this to be really dumb. All right. I'm having a look at the properties component, and I've noticed that I've set everything up in a particular type of grid. And I kind of want to keep that. And what I'm thinking of doing is doing something like that, and then passing down the class in here. So I'll go class equals status and compact. Like that. And I'm hoping that gets passed down into the Welk select, and we're going to check that out right now. I'm just going to hit refresh. We're going to bump that off to the right. We've broken everything. The reason why we've broken everything, type error, can't access, property, filter. All right, no, not a problem. I've broken everything. Let's fix up everything first. All right, so what I want to do, object status, I need to cut that out of there. I need to key that into there. Define computed. This is once again temporary sort of stuff. We'll actually, I'm going to make this generic in a minute. So I've got to get the data out, and then I've got to map it to... Oh, that's also a problem. Just realized that. The options are at a certain set type. They're at the select option interface. Which is extremely annoying. And so I'm just having a quick think about this. It's really annoying. We can always keep the mapping in there. Really annoying. I've got to figure a workaround for this, because this is going to hinder people. Oh God. I'll figure a workaround. I've got a couple ideas rattling around in my head. All right, so we'll keep that in there for the moment. Once again, this is just temp code. Now, that doesn't fix up anything because we've got reference error, compute is not defined. Yeah, we'll fix stuff up in a second. Let's have a look at object data meta stores. All right, we need to yank that out. Best news, we're not going to be using it at that level, so we'll paste it up into here. We'll define stores here. There we go. Welk UI. Yep. All right. Cool. Oh, we're not using the... Sorry, it's just the Welk select. Now... Another thing that I've got to start... sort of paying attention to is how I want to do the validation. I don't think doing the validation down at this level is going to be good at all. I think it's going to be terrible. This, I don't think is going to work. Definitely not scalable or anything like that. However, what I could potentially do is have a look at putting that into the object store. Have a simple validation thing in there. Now, we're going to go TypeScript. Dictionary key value. Oh, God. So what alright, so we're going to be a record with string and number. That's going to work really, really well because it is pretty much that. We've got a field that we're looking up and so forth like that. Alright. So... So much to do. I'm jumping all over the place here. All right. I'm not going to worry about that at the moment. What I'm going to do is to do move record string boolean validation into move. I'm going to go field validation like that, so it reminds me, into object store where it belongs, and that way we can just edit it straight away. We can go, cool, edit this, I don't care, done. And we can move all of the actions up there too, and any getters and stuff like that. So... because I know I did some composers before and I was sending the composers data and I'm just like, no, all of that can be in one spot. All right, not a problem. We'll keep going forward. So we've got the object status. We've got all of that down there like that. Here's the object status. So we've got the temp codes. We've got the required. We've got the status model. Doesn't exist. This is what we're going to do with the status model. All right, cool. This would be const object store. We'll import the object store. Easy done. We do need to actually import the use object store. Cool. Easy done. What we need down here is object store dot status dot ID. Otherwise 0. Oops, sorry, I've knocked out my headset. All right, so that's pretty much, hopefully that. I've broken everything. Oh, I've broken everything. VModel must be a valid JavaScript member expression. Boo, you suck. All right. I'm just going to, for the moment, Oh, this is going to be a string, isn't it? All right, fix that issue. We've got another issue. In promise, reference error, define ref is not defined. Because I'm an idiot. Oh my god. Oh my god. All right. Property priority model was not was accessed during render but not defined. I'm not going to worry about that too much at the moment. So what we actually have now is we have the object status. It's not working correctly. That's perfectly fine. We will get it working. We've got that there. Now, if I move that to the left, I'm just going to go into the view. I'm going to go route view, non-split base transfer, project page. We want projects. All right. So we got this set up. Yeah, that's all cool and dandy. We got set. Yeah, that's all. Where's our model? Where's our model? Oh, it's all right. No. I'm way too high. Object status. We got the route. We got the state. Temp 3. All right, cool. So we know that's working, and then if we change it to new, it'll go temp 1. All right, cool. And then 2. I made a mistake here by doing that. We can do that. All right, so yeah, that works perfectly fine. Now the idea here is when the model changes, we update the store with the correct value that we want. Yeah. So I'm just giving a good thinking. And hi, how are you going? I'm going to struggle pronouncing your name. Abhish? Welcome. I do hope you are enjoying my content as I am thinking how I'm going to solve this problem. I can easily do it with a bunch of watching. It just watches the ref. If the ref changes, it updates that. On mount, I actually want to... Because the thing is, this component actually is in 2 different places. So if I change that, I also need to handle that change. Abhi. Well, welcome, Abhi. Abhishek? Or am I absolutely pronouncing that incorrectly? Thank you very much. Oh, we've just hit an ad break on Twitch. Yeah, we run ads on Twitch to stop the pre-rolled ads. We just tend to talk and stuff like that in here. I tend to not work so much on it, just so people don't miss out on any content. So yeah, I've just got to think how, because in the store we have a structure that is completely different to what we want and stuff like that. I think we're going to have to handle that that connection. Oh, that's good to hear. Yeah, so I can watch the store, see if it changes, and then update the model value. That's going to be pretty easy. Yeah. So for my 9 to 5, I do a lot of .NET and Embraco CMS work. So yeah. For NearBeach, I do a lot of Vue and Python. Sorry, I'm just trying to think now. Pinio, we can watch components, can't we? And welcome back, everyone. All right, so I've just Googled state. I'll bump that off to the right so you guys can read. Subscribing to the state. Mutation and state. All right, cool. You can watch the state and its changes through subscribe. Alright, method of a store similar to the VueJS subscribe. The advantage of subscribe over regular watch is that subscriptions will trigger only once after patches, i.e. when using the function version above. Alright. And I wonder how far down I can go with that subscribe. That's pretty cool. So yeah, let's leave this ref like this for the moment. What we want to do is we've defined our stores. So we want to no, I can't do it there. All right, so we can do the mutation type. We can so it's very similar to the, oh god, sorry about the flashbang. So scrub mutant state, mutant type, dot payload, store subscribe handler. By default, new handler is added at the end of the chain. All right, cool. All right. I'm just going to add on a few things in here. So we've got the mutation, and we've got the state. And what I want to do is, I don't know what's going to happen out here. So I'm going to go mutation, and I'm going to go console log state like this. Mainly because I don't know what they're going to produce. It is done. From past 4 to 5 months, I'm trying to crack a remote job. Sometimes I was so close to get the offer, but struggling. Any suggestions? Networking. It's hard getting a job. Not gonna lie, it is extremely hard. I'm lucky I haven't had to deal with getting a job in a while. So yeah. The idea here is you want to meet people and so forth like that because they can get you a foot in the door. The only 2 times I've never had to do that is my current position and when I was a kitchen hand. Those are the only 2 times I never networked my way into a job. Every other single time I've networked into a job, someone's known me, they pulled me in, or I've known someone and asked them to help me out. So, for example, you can use services like Meetup. There might be Facebook groups and stuff like that. Let's say Python. I'm doing Melbourne around here. I don't think I'll fit into that one. Sketchathon. Alright, there might not be much Python stuff here, but there is Elixir. Cool. You can go onto the site and be like, alright, cool, the event's on like Thursday, 2nd of April, and so forth like that. First Thursday of every month, and so forth like that. And yeah, just go to those events. So that would be my recommendation. Yeah, networking. And sort of build something. Doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be complicated. Or you can be actually multiple things. That way you can kind of point at what you built and be like, yeah, I did this. This is the problems I came across. You could say, this is meant to solve this sort of problem for me. Or you could say, I just wanted to know how this would work. So I built it, came across these problems and stuff like that. Yeah. So we've just done those two. I'm just going to go in here. We're just going to go with the console. Yeah, I know. Priority model was accessed. Yeah, all right. I'll fix you up in a minute. Just calm down. So we've got our mutations. We've got the patch function. We've got patch function. All right, cool. And we've got the state. The state is just referencing itself, but this... Ooh. This is where I can look at the store ID. Alright, so give me a couple of seconds. That was under mutation. If mutation.store does not equal undefined, I'm just going to go console log mutated a store. Oh, no, not store. Status. Sorry. No, I'm just having a dyslexic moment. I've just typed in store ID object. All right. What's this one? Events. So array, group list, organization, store ID object. All right. Because I want to check to see if I need to do work. If I don't need to do work, I'm not going to do any work. That's just going to make things more efficient. Whereas if this just keeps coming through, I'm going to be doing work on it. That I don't need to do. That's going to drive me nuts. All right, so this is part type, events. That is just that. That's just the target. Yeah. All right. I'm just going to close a few of those tabs because we no longer need them. Pinia, subscribe to one field in store. All right, let's find out. Unanswered. You cannot subscribe to one property in a store, but you can use VueBuilt's watch function. Store to refs, no. All right, that might work. So I'm just racking my brain. All right, it looks like we can't. It was asked 2 years ago. And it was asked 3 years ago. All right, I think we're just going to simplify this for the moment. Don't think I need any of that. What I want to do is if the object, what I'm also going to do up here is I'm going to do status model. All right, status model. All right, sweet, easy done. So if status model dot value doesn't equal, and this is where we're going to go object store dot status dot ID. All right, and it's fine. We can do a couple of question marks here. Then what we're going to do, I'm going to put that as a 0 for default. What we're going to do is update it. I'm also going to check to make sure it isn't defined. And now we've got a couple of negatives and stuff like that. All right, cool. If object store status ID equals undefined, or object store status dot ID equals the same as status model dot value, nothing needs to be done, and we just return update the model locally. All right, cool. I think that should be good. I think, hopefully. Another thing I could potentially do is I could do that on this. But not for the moment. Yeah, not for the moment. All right. Going back into here. I'm just going to hit refresh. We're going to hope for the best. We've got the store in there. Now the problem is I'm not actually doing the changes. So I'm going to need to watch anyway. Which is fine. But one thing I want to do first, let's jump into Pinia. Let's go to the object. We've got the status in here. It's this ID that we're changing, and that instantly changes what we want. All right. Sorry, this is the joys of actually figuring stuff out and realizing that, hey, you're going to be using a watch function anyway. You might as well put it all in watch. So we're probably going to oh, sorry, my God. We're probably going to use this. It's fine. So I'm just going to clearly do something crazy. Oh my God, I can't, I keep faffing. It is 9:30, so yeah, this is approximately where my brain just goes, yep, all right, good night. What we want to do, oops, sorry, Socks, I didn't mean to wake you up like that. That was very rude of me. I want to do something like this and then something like this. So we're just going to copy this. We're just going to go over here and we're going to define the watches. And we're just going to paste that in like that. We're going to do this properly. Now, view. Because I haven't done many watches in the compositional API. I just want to double check something. So you got this. So you got a watch, question, da, da, da. All right, cool. We're not going to worry about the old and new. I'm just wondering if there is just the value UX, yeah. So that's what we want, single ref. Yeah, we don't need to get yeah. So we need 2 watches. But that's perfectly fine. What I want to do, I kind of want to set this up how I want it to be set up. We are going to go object store. No, we just need status. And this is going to be define. It's technically part of refs, so I don't think I could do it up here. Yeah, no, this because it's defined before down there. So what we want to do is we want to actually go define store to ref here. We just paste it into there. That's fine. Then in here, we've got status. I'm going to say status ref. All right, and then we just need the new value. And we do that, and then we close it off. All right, so it'll be like this. If new value equals undefined or null, do nothing. And we just return. If new value dot ID equals the same as the status model dot value dot ID, do nothing. Sorry, that's now going to be status model dot value equals new value dot ID. That's pretty much it. Now, another watch that we've got to do is, we've got to do one for the model. So we're going to watch the status model. Yeah, we just need to worry about the new value. So, do nothing. What we need to do, fetch status object from object metadata. All right, we've got to build in something. Shouldn't take us too long, famous last words. Shouldn't take us too long. So we need to go into stores. We need to go into object metadata in here. So we've got the update object. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we've got these. All right, I need to actually run those too. And what that does is that just simplifies everything for us. I completely totally forgot that they were there. This is awesome. Let's do that. So on the project page, under the script, we'll have an on-mounted. You'll need the store brought in. So import the use object metadata store. That is just going to be define variables. This is going to be define stores. This is going to be const object metadata store equals all of that. We're all happy with that. On hook mount, that's going to be on mounted. Sorry, use object that should be object metadata store dot update object statuses, and this is a project. I forgot I was going to do this, and the idea here is it makes life easier for us. So with the object status, now I don't need to do that. It gets simpler. It just becomes status. I don't need to pass down the project or anything like that. That's handled elsewhere. That's handled in the project, man. Like the project's going like, all right, cool. I'm a project. Put all my project statuses into the correct spot. So if we go into here, I'm just going to hit refresh. I think we've broken something. All right, we've definitely broken something. Store to ref is not defined. All right, we'll go back and fix that up. That's pretty easy to sort of fix up. All right, so store to refs. Now that was in that example. I'm just going to copy that. I'm hoping this is still a thing. It is. All right. If I go back here and I hit I'll hit refresh. Reference error. Watch is not defined. Cool. We just didn't put it up here. All right, everything's back. We still have a bit of yellow text, but that's the priority invalid watch source. So watch source can only be get / effect function, a ref, reactive object, or an array of these types. All right, cool. We'll fix all this up. But our statuses are still there. There we go. And we know there are always going to be projects. And if I go to the view and I go into Pinia and I go into object metadata, we've got our project statuses there, and I'm like, sweet, awesome news, cool, sweet. So we've got the both watches on there. So if the status model, now so if that changes, the types will be done later. This will be fetch status object, and that's going to be the ID. Now I don't know if that's a number or a string. That's the problem. I'm just going to delete that one line. We're just going to go back into this. We're going to click on this. So in here we've got meta object array with statuses, anything like that. So that's going to be an ID of 1, so that's definitely going to be a number. This then should be a number, but the problem is this particular interface, the value is a string, and we should have defined it as, all right. Not too much of a problem. We can actually handle this. In a sense, I should have made that either a string or a number. That's my bad, because there's many cases where you do want it a string as the value and not a number. So let's bump that over into our bug, because we've got to actually fix that up. So that will be similar to this one. ID field should be a string or number. Oh, the value field, sorry. The value for the select can be either a string or a number. There are many cases for both of these value types. All right, cool. That's where I go over somewhere. Oh, those are fine. Sorry, that's not what I'm after. Sorry, it's the end of the night. Everyone has to deal with me collapsing. Alright, so I'm going to copy this. I'm going to paste it in here. I'm going to paste it into here. It should be string or number. Easy done. The label should definitely always be a string. The opt group should be string or null or null. Yeah, that's it. We're on our last ad break for the evening. All right, cool. We're getting there. Struggle time now. Socks is glaring at me. She's like, doo. Are you gonna? Oh, she started looking nicely at the camera. She's like, oh, I'm nice. Before she was like, easy way. You can't tell me off. All right, almost there. Almost there. So much work to do. Yeah. It'd be good once I get the projects done because this will be copy pasted it elsewhere. And from how we're actually setting things up, a lot of this is very small component driven type of thing. You can see the pages now. All Welk is doing has extracted out a lot of that repetition. Which is nice, and yeah, we're really thinking about stripping down as much code as possible. So yeah, it's getting there. I'm getting happy with it. So I think I've set this up a lot better this time. Well, this is because I've learned so much since first doing NearBeach. So yeah. All right. We're about a couple of seconds away. Welcome back, everyone. Yay. All right. Let's get back into it. So, we've got the Welk stuff in here. We've got the Welk select. We're all happy with that. We've done a lot of that. I'm just going to go into console log now. We don't have the status working, but I'm just going to hit refresh. Priority model, I'm going to because there's priority model. It is driving me nuts seeing that. I'm going to go const priority model equals ref. I'm just going to say high priority like that. Let's just leave it like that for the moment. There we go, that's fixed. I'm just going to do that. Now we're just focusing on invalid watch source. A watch source can only be getter/effector function, a ref, a reactive object, or an array of these types. All right, cool. So what I'm thinking is causing that is probably I've done something wrong here. Cool, that was it. All right, simple, stupid mistake. Invalid watch source. The watch source can only be getter vectors, function, a ref, a reactive object, or an array of. Now, I'm hoping it's this one. So I'll just do that. Hit reload. No, it's not. All right, maybe it is this one, and we're screwed. Yeah, it is that one. All right. That's fine. We've learnt the problem. We know subscribes work really well. And we're only looking at one object, and that should happen fairly quickly. All right, something broke. I'm just going to hit refresh. Object store is not defined. It's defined right there. We had this working. All right. Yeah, can't get into there. All right. Give me 2 seconds. Let's have a look. And this code. Sorry, not the code. Subscribe. So we've got mutation and state. All right. So in this sort of case, we just want to go state, state, state. Yeah. Just gonna, oh, I've broken something even worse. All right. Object store is not defined. All right, hang on. I'm an idiot. There you go. It was lowercase s. All right. Status model is not defined. No. I'm sure we had this working before. But don't know. All right, we're just going to go the good old There you go. Cool. So we're happy. What do I want to do? So we're subscribed to the object store changing. But can I actually get to any data? Yes, yes I can. All right. Let's just do that. Status model. I've done it lowercase. Oh my god, that's the... Alright, I don't know what went wrong. Clearly something, clearly I'm getting tired and my brain's decided to leave the building. Alright, so we've got all that. That should now handle that really well. And if I go back into the view, I go into the pinnr, I go into the object, I go into the status. If I do that, yeah, that updates that perfectly. Alright, cool. So that's doing it one way. We now need to do it the other way. So we need to define watches. Sorry, I just realized. No, sucks. Seriously. Alright, define watches. So we're going to watch our ref. We're going to watch our status model. I think I can do it like that. We just want to go new value in here. We then want to open up that. And then what we want to do is we want to go object metadata store dot fetch. This is the stuff we've got to actually create. This is where I go up here, I do this, I then go down here. This is where we want to go fetch. Fetch status. And then what we need in here, because we know this is going to be a number, we're going to go ID. We know it's a number. And then what we're going to do is we're going to return this dot object. This dot statuses. We don't need to do much about that. We just need to filter. There's no first, is there? No. We're going to do the row where the row dot ID equals the ID. Now they're both numbers. That's going to be great. And the best thing is if we open up the console, let's go in here. Let's go A equals. We're going to open up something. We're going to go name Bob or Bon. Name Bon. Yeah, why not? Name Bob. We do something like that and go a dot filter and we go row and we go row dot name equals, let's go same. It's going to give an empty array and that's going to be fine. But if we type in the one thing, it's going to give us an array of objects, which is what we want. All right, socks. You know you're in the way. She's like, yeah, I know. All right, cool. Can I have my mouse? She's like, no. So that's what it's going to do. We're going to fetch statuses, dependent on that. We want to do that in the watch. We want to fetch status with the new value. All right, so that will be, should be a number, but at the moment it might be a string. So I'm going to pass int just in case. All right, cool. What we want to do, const status is going to be that. If status.length equals 0, so because you're really close to the mouse now, you know I don't like that. If that is, we've got an issue. We have an issue. So what we want to do is to do proper error handling, and I'm going to go console.error status was not found in state management, and then we're just going to do that, and I'm just going to go new value. And then we're just going to return because there's nothing to do. So now what we want to do is we want to go object store dot patch, and we're going to go status is going to equal the new status, and we're just going to grab the first one, and that's it. That's all we're going to do. So if someone changes the value, it'll update the value. Now you might say, but we're subscribed to that. Aren't we going to then have a recurring sort of thing? And it's like, that's why I put in these sort of blocks. Now, it would be awesome if I could pass through a model and get that model in the same shape and stuff like that. I can't. I've made that decision that we're going to have the status as an object up high. It might turn around that one day I'll just go, nah, screw it. Let's just have that as an ID. And I can think about that. And it might be the case that it's going to be a lot easier if I just translate that into an ID when uploading stuff. Yeah. That is actually a really good thought that I should kick myself off into. So if we go into the projects page, we actually download we use the store. No, how do we get the data in here? I keep forgetting. There's somewhere where I kick this off. Yeah, all right. Give me 2 seconds. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have a look at the object. I'm going to have a look at the object. We're going to actually change this. We're actually, when I say change this, we're going to add in a to-do. To-do. Do we really need all this extra data for the status? And we probably do, because we do have the higher order status in here. It will be easier for programmers to see if the status. It'll be easier for everyone if we add the status as a model directly. However, we lose key information like higher order status. That being said, we might actually find a way where we can actually update that after actually doing a status change. Yeah, something I've got to think about, which is why we're putting it into the code. I want to solve this problem here because this problem is going to appear everywhere else, and how I deal with it here is how I'm going to deal with it everywhere else. This is fine for the moment. All right, status not found in management, that's perfectly fine. Oh yeah, those are zeros, but now we've got the ones. And a moment of truth, whether that worked. So we're going to go to object. We're having a look at status. Ooh. Oh, it does work. Look at that. All right, so we have a problem where, and this is a very quick problem to fix. That's it. So, yeah. Now, going on before with what I said, if I do actually decide to have that status ID in the store just to be an integer, and then the higher order status be something else, as in a different field and stuff like that, that will definitely shrink a lot of this. It will absolutely shrink the bejeevers out of this code. Which is why I'm probably leaning on it a lot more. I've just got to figure out how I can actually update the higher order status. And once again, I could subscribe to this. And then if I see it's mutated or something like that, I can check it. And but I need, I need to watch that one particular field itself. You were about to sit on my mouse and keyboard again, Missy. All right. What have we done today? We've done a lot. All right. All right. I am going to commit this. All right, sucks. I need space for the moment, please. Git add everything. Git status again. We're going to go git commit. Implementation of the, don't sit on my mouse, of the, what do we call it? It'll be object status. Component. Plus moving components, moving generic object components into their own folder. So there's a lot of movement. And oh, before I pushed, I should test it. All right, npm run test unit. I'm terribly sorry, this is going to flashbang everyone. All right, Cool. I'm happy with that. Anyway, it is 10 o'clock. They're not there at the moment. All right. So I'm just looking at who we could stream, raid. All right, cool. I just realised we raided them the other night, but that's perfectly fine. That's fine. We're going to raid maybe again. Anyway, thank you very much everyone for coming tonight. It has been wonderful. We are getting the pieces closer and closer together. Hopefully we can get them there, which would be awesome. I've also just thought that I could potentially... No, alright, don't worry. It's another thought. Anyway, thank you very much. Let's go raid maybe again. They're currently a... I'm just going to mute that. They're currently a hot dog. Yeah, alright. Thank you very much, everyone, and have fun. For those on YouTube, thank you very much for being here. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It does help the channel. Sadly, you won't be able to join us, but have fun.